Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2647 Researching Mars Technology 1. Yang Xinshin looked at him, her eyes flickering slightly. You only sent those 3 words? Zhang Yi smiled. 3 words are enough. They understand that as long as I am alive, the Huaxiu Kingdom has enough confidence. At this moment, he suddenly felt a bit like Zhang Yi from many years ago, who had just awakened his superpowers but gritted his teeth and shouldered the responsibility of the entire team. A simple "I'm here" is enough to put a group of people at ease. However, nowadays, Zhang Yi is shouldering the responsibility for the entire Huaxiu Kingdom and the entire clan. Lu Karen, holding various tools in her hands, let out a soft breath after hearing Zhang Yi's words, as if expelling these suppressed emotions from her chest. Immediately afterwards, she quickly regained her excitement, grabbed Zhang Yi's wrist, and dragged him toward the projection on the wall. Okay, let's move on to the serious topics first. Brother Zhang, look. The things from the Sand Raiders civilization are so interesting. I plan to expose them completely over the next month. Zhang Yi let her pull him over. The model on the wall changes angle and automatically labels a series of data. These are the most basic security equipment. Lu Karen pointed to one of the tall, milky white, shaped structures. Don't be fooled by the fact that they are just guards used for urban security. Their structure is anything but simple. Look at this energy skeleton. She enlarged one of them. The nested energy conduits are hinged to the deformable structure, like the musculoskeletal system of a mechanical device. Their design philosophy is completely different from that of the Zhongyuan clan. The Zhongyuan clan uses a high-density alloy combined with a special ability conduit, which is more like using special abilities as electrical wires. The Sand Sweeper is designed with its entire body as a learning force-bearing structure. She tapped her fingers rapidly, and several engineers behind her nodded in agreement. Simply put, they will not only upgrade the combat logic based on data collected from the battlefield. The body itself will also adjust the way it receives force based on combat feedback. They fight tirelessly and become even tougher as the battle goes on. If we take back Earth using this approach, we can absolutely build a mechanical army that can grow. Give us a few years, and each of our machines could probably go toe-to-toe with a tank-class alien. What about the armored battle maidens? Zhang Yi looked to the other side. Those were disassembled models of the 13 war maidens. The silvery white shape has a structure so complex it's almost an art piece. He had already seen the mechanical life forms created by the Sandstalker civilization. The biggest difference between these guys and the mechanical life forms of the Zhongyuan clan is that they have extremely high growth potential. The mechanical life forms of the Zhongyuan clan are relatively rigid, with a single, simple, and brutal combat style. The mechanical life forms of the Sandstalker civilization, especially these armed battle maidens, are able to quickly advance in battle. Zhang Yi had suffered some losses at their hands before, so he was especially attentive to them after getting their help. Armed battle maidens are even more outrageous. Lu Karen's eyes lit up. She wished she could jump into the screen. They are essentially a mobile tactical laboratory. Putting aside their powerful individual performance, their instinct on the battlefield is to verify hypotheses. Every new attack method is like conducting an experiment. Data that fails will be discarded, while data that succeeds will be retained. After these data are connected through the central hub, she took a deep breath. You're no longer facing a bunch of machines. It's a complete set of self-optimizing war algorithms. What makes them truly terrifying is not their firepower. They are getting stronger every second, penetrating the enemy's weaknesses and forming new ways of fighting. Moreover, the 13 armed battle maidens can share thoughts and cooperate seamlessly. Zhang Yi nodded. He felt this very clearly during the Battle of the Desert. However, Lu Karen frowned slightly, spreading her hands with some regret. it's probably impossible to completely replicate their abilities. Zhang Yi raised an eyebrow. He roughly knew the reason. Is it because there's no star-forming entity as the core hub? Lu Karen nodded. Yes. The armed battle maidens are merely shells. The ones truly responsible for combat are the battle spirits projected from the celestial body. Simply put, it's like the difference between Ling's ethereal world entity and her interdimensional entity. After leaving the Martian inner world, the 13 armed battle maidens in Zhang Yi's hands were nothing more than empty shells. To what extent can it be done? Zhang Yi still asked, unwilling to give up. Lu Karen thought for a moment and said, it's impossible to completely achieve the same level of resurrection as in the inner world. They will also get injured, but after they recover, it should be possible to maintain their combat power in the inner world. Zhang Yi felt relieved. That's enough. It's just the energy consumption is terrifying. Lu Karen stuck out her tongue and said playfully, the energy consumed by activating 13 armed battle maidens once is no less than that consumed when activating Ling once during the attack on the Wulwan Empire. Zhang Yi's eyes twitched violently, and it didn't stop for a long time. This energy consumption, isn't it just too terrifying? As expected, advanced technology comes from interstellar civilizations. Otherwise, the resources on a single planet would simply not be enough to sustain them. However, with his current inventory, he can afford it. However, this can be used as a trump card in critical moments and should not be used casually. Let's consider interstellar travel and acquiring more resources later. He murmured to himself. Among the technologies provided by the engineers of the Ahen race, there were indeed methods for interstellar travel, but the requirements were too high. Given the current level of technology in Huashu Kingdom, it is simply impossible to achieve this in a short period of time. Zhang Yi shook his head, trying not to think about things too far in the future. The development of science and technology is a long process. What about the heavenly ring and the boundless sphere? Have you researched any useful technologies from them? Yang Xinxin also came over. Her gaze swept over the huge halo and a semi-transparent crystal sphere in the projection. They are clearly no longer just in the category of mechanical structures. Especially the boundless ball. The realm of the 7 emotions and 6 desires of the is not like a simple spiritual interference. It's more like a direct mapping to the ether layer. This is very similar to rule-based abilities. No. Lu Karen shook her head. Based on the data, it's not a rule. At least not in the way we understand it. Look. She pulled up the energy spectrum of the boundless sphere residue. These fluctuations are like remnants of rules that have been lent out, not things that I own. Chapter 2648 Researching Mars Technology 2. Yang Xinxin continued. The rule-based ability of the boundless sphere seems to be something like someone photocopied the entire book of rules and pasted it on it. What it has now is only the license to that photocopy. Its power likely originated from the spirit of a once powerful sand raider, which was an artificial celestial body. But this also means one thing. She looked up at Zhang Yi and said seriously, the Sand Slayer, Ming, must have come into contact with the power of the true rule at some point. Otherwise, they would not be able to complete this step of the process. They can't create something from nothing. They can only dismantle, reassemble, and utilize what already exists. This is the limitation of my understanding. But it is also terrifying. They forcibly implanted powers that did not belong to them into the bodies of mechanical terminals. Thus, the heavenly ring, the boundless sphere, and even the death songstress came into being. This approach is very similar to the thinking of some human researchers. Yang Xinxin added softly, let's do it first, without considering the consequences. Right. Lu Karen sighed, a rare hint of seriousness appearing on her face. This is what I'm most worried about right now. The sand gatherer, Ming, has been destroyed. But what if the technology they left behind lands on Earth? Can you guarantee that Earth won't repeat their mistakes? After a brief silence, the rest area fell silent. Zhang Yi did not rush to answer. Looking at the rotating model, he suddenly felt that the metal lines were more complex than any battlefield. You're worried that as we delve deeper into technology, we'll become the next Sand Raiders, right? I'm not worried. Lou Karen shook her head, then nodded. I only know that if you give someone a knife, he can use it to kill someone or to cut vegetables. The key lies in the person wielding the knife. The Sand Raiders wielded the sword of technology. In the end, they were devoured by the very sword they created. Whether you accept this knife or not is up to you. Brother Zhang. She looked up, unusually not trying to brush off the topic with a joke. His eyes were filled with seriousness. Zhang Yi looked into her eyes, which shone with an almost obsessive intensity. He smiled. I'll keep the knife. I'll use it to kill the enemy first. As for when I'll use it to chop vegetables, we'll talk about that after this battle is over. Don't worry, I won't let Huashu Kingdom become the next otherworld. It won't make your work the next Adam. Zhang Yi said with a smile. He is not Lu Karen or Yang Xinxin. His way of thinking is very simple. No one can predict what the future holds. But right now, they desperately need strength. Even if technology is truly a double-edged sword, he will still wield the sword to kill the enemy first, and then consider whether it will harm himself. Lu Karen was stunned for a moment, then grinned. All right then, the other one is only responsible for sharpening the knife. As for who to cut, that's your problem, the one holding the knife. After a brief conversation, she buried herself in the data again, as if her seriousness just moments before was merely an illusion. Time passed slowly. The return trip will take about a month. For ordinary people, this is an agonizing and long journey. For them, it was just enough to digest some of the gains they brought from Mars. Zhang Yi roughly divided his daily life into several parts. Training, research, and planning. The training ground is located on the belly of the Dreamer. Gravity systems can simulate different gravity environments, from Earth's gravity to Mars' gravity, and even higher levels of pressure. Uncle Yu arrives on time every day and adjusts his energy output to near its limit. He needs to get used to the new demon god armor state. After all, his equipment was no longer the same as before, given his battle with Adam. Zhang Yi. During a training break, he said with a laugh, panting heavily. If you keep piling alien technology and new materials researched by Miss Liu onto your body, it will eventually become a walking turret. At that time, I'm afraid even turning over in bed will require precise calculations. Isn't this great? Zhang Yi replied with a smile. That way, the enemy will be so frightened by your appearance that they will surrender immediately. He nudged the now incredibly robust Uncle Yu with his shoulder. 70% of Uncle Yu's body had been mechanized. But the direction has changed. Because Lu Karen's research direction has changed. At the beginning, he frantically piled heavy armor and heavy artillery on him, but now he has begun to shrink back. That's right. After encountering this super-intelligent entity, she began to research humanoid armor. So now, Uncle Yu looks much thinner than before. This process is somewhat similar to how electronic computers evolved from being as huge as houses in their early days to gradually becoming handheld consoles. The final stage of this cyberpunk transformation will definitely be a structure like Ling's. Of course, Uncle Yu's essential physical structure is still preserved. He can still eat and perform other physiological functions. Fatty Su was dragged by Liang Yu to practice close combat. The reason is simple. The enemy won't wait for you at long range forever. What if someone kisses you on the face someday? You can't just stand there getting hit while shouting, "Wait for me to back up 10 meters first." That's too embarrassing. So Fatty Su spent many miserable days. His screams of agony often echoed across the training ground. Zhang Yi, on the other hand, spent the month in Lijiang practicing martial arts diligently while improving his understanding of time and space skills. Over there, in the rest area, Yang Xinxin was responsible for organizing the data. She needs to archive all the intelligence and combat records obtained from the Martian world. In the future, these may all become crucial. Sometimes, she would walk to the viewing window and quietly look at the starry sky outside for a while. Zhang Yi would occasionally go over and stand beside her for a while. On one occasion, Yang Xinxin suddenly asked Zhang Yi a question. Brother Zhang Yi, those scenes that Wujiekia showed you, do you still remember it now? Zhang Yi was stunned. Meeting. He did not deny it, but I will no longer be controlled by it. After all, the future is something we, the people, will conquer, not something we passively accept. Moreover, he paused, then turned his head to look at her. But I said that a long time ago. This kind of person is destined for great ups and downs, sometimes poor, sometimes rich. Living is about making things happen. If that day ever comes, I will face a desperate situation. At least I can't let my future self think that I was too cowardly now. Yang Xinshin smiled. There was a hint of helplessness in his smile, but also a touch of relief. Then I assume you've already graduated from the rules-based world. If you encounter a similar enemy in the future, you don't need to worry about putting yourself in danger. Here we end today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive.
Right,
Thanks.
that's it for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises. Thank you.